Okay, let's call the November meeting of the State Transportation Board to order, and we'll begin with the invocation. Jeff, will you please lead us?
Before we pray, let's have a moment of silence in memory of Speaker David Lawson. Heavenly Father, we come before you, Lord, just lift you up as we always should, being your children and being extended grace beyond what we deserve. And Lord, we especially want to lift up the family of Speaker Ralston and all that they were enduring this time. And we want to lift up our gratitude for his service to the legislature, to the state, Lord, and what he meant to this department and all the influence and contributions he made in this support actual department. Lord, all of us, thank you for him. Father, now as we enter into these proceedings, we'll be back to blessing on us. Please bless our department and all those who serve this state. Father, we just say that this Thanksgiving holiday, just mindful that we should always have a thankful heart, and we should always pursue you and do the right word you deserve. We pray this in your holy name. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I want to welcome you all here to our November meeting. The year continues to gallop by, and I'm going to just hand the floor over to Ann Purcell, who has a special announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This morning we have amongst us a person that I wanted to recognize because it's her birthday, and that's our secretary, Kristen Thompson. So happy birthday to you.
Kristen turned 21 today. Okay, Kristen, do you want to do the roll call?
Yes. Congratulations. 1, Ms. Purcell.
Present.
2, Mr. Floyd.
Here, present.
3, Mr. McIntyre.
Here.
4, Mr. Brown.
Here.
5, Ms. Key.
Here.
6, Mr. Abel.
Here.
7, Mr. Bowen.
Here.
8, Mr. Golden.
Here.
9, Ms. Dunn. 10, Mr. Boswell.
Here.
11, Mr. Lewis.
Here.
12, Mr. Morris.
Here.
13, Ms. Lemon. And 14, Mr. Sharon.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the October board meeting. Is there a motion? Thank you. Any discussion about the minutes from the October board meeting? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And the motion passes. So next on our agenda is the December letting. Mr. Shelby, would you please come forward? Thank you, sir.
So good morning, Chairman Abel, Commissioner, members of the board. I'm here to present the project for the proposing for the December 2022 letting. And here we go. So before we present December 2022, here are the FY 2023 results. We have let a total of 83 projects. This chart shows the number of projects by improvement type. The value of these 83 projects is approximately $548.8 million through the October 2022 bid awards and all are GDOT let. This chart shows the dollar amount distribution by improvement type, with maintenance, bridge, and road projects making up the bulk of these improvements. Here are the results of the October 2022 letting. Of the 27 GDOT let contracts presented to the board, actually 25 were awarded because one came in and was awarded late, and 2 were rejected from the letting. Now I'm going to discuss the projects in the December 2022 letting. We have a total of 40 projects with 39 GDOT let and 1 local let. The next 4 slides list the 38 non-TIA projects arranged by congressional district. So as you can see with this slide, we are letting a variety of projects throughout the state to address bridge capacity, enhancement, bridge maintenance, and safety issues. As you saw with the list just a few slides back, our projects are mostly maintenance focused. We have 23 of them that are maintenance focused. We propose to let a variety of those projects, including resurfacing of roadways, slab repair and replacement, and bridge maintenance. These projects are excellent examples of our continued commitment to maintaining our existing infrastructure. The first highlighted project will resurface I-95 from Youngs Swamp Creek to South Newport River for a length of 6.94 miles. This section was last received concrete rehab work back in 2007, 15 years ago. This project will replace a structurally deficient bridge on Mill Road over Pinehead Creek. The existing bridge was constructed in 1955, 67 years ago. And here's a ground view of that bridge to be replaced. This next project will replace the structurally deficient bridge on State Route 16 over the Flint River. The existing bridge was constructed in 1960, 62 years ago. And here's a ground view of that bridge to be replaced. This next project will resurface I-85 from State Route 140 to north of Old Peachtree Road for 12.28 miles. This section was last repaved in 2007, 15 years ago. This next project will replace the structurally deficient bridge on Bar Bridge Road over Murder Creek. The existing bridge was constructed in 1981, 41 years ago. Here's a ground view of that bridge to be replaced. Next is a bridge on Old Waynesboro Road over McBeans Creek. The existing bridge was constructed in 1958, 64 years ago. Here's a ground view of that bridge to be replaced. And finally, the structurally deficient bridge to be replaced on Oakley Road over Broadenex Creek. The existing bridge was constructed in 1961, 61 years ago. And here's a ground view of that bridge to be replaced. The next project will be advertised in December 2022. The actual let date is not until June of 2023. We're advertising this early to receive an abundance of quality bids. Here's that particular project. So this project will construct a frontage road parallel to I-16 for approximately 2.06 miles from US 280 to just east of Jernigan Road, consisting of 4 travel lanes with a median and rural shoulders. The selected design builder will provide design and construction services for this project.
Good morning, members of the board, Commissioner, Chairman. I'm here to present the TIA projects in the December 2022 letting. This is the last GDOT let for TIA in the first 10 years for the original 3 regions. So we're proud that we've made it to this point, and we are letting the last project in River Valley. That project is in congressional districts 2 and 3. And it's a major widening project on the State Route 1 corridor and an access road in Warren County in CSRA, Congressional District 10. This is the US 27 State Route 1 widening and resurfacing in Harris and Muskogee counties. The project is approximately 7.6 miles, a little over 4 miles of widening and reconstruction. Then we'll be resurfacing overlay and doing, spot, traffic upgrades along the corridor in Harris County and with a slight new location alignment of 315, above Catala with a new roundabout on the state route up there. This represents a little bit over a $40 million investment, twinned between TIA funds and state money. This is the frontage road. This project will take off of Cadley Road down there just south of the exit 160 interchange. It will proceed on new location and it'll cul-de-sac around where that approximate location sign is on the graphic. So this represents a little bit over a $5 million investment in TIA funds and actually a federal earmark. So with coordination between the locals and the feds, we came up with a new termini for the end of this project. All right. And with that, if there are any questions? All right.
Thank you, Kim.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So we have 40 projects proposed for the December 2022 letting. This chart shows the distribution by improvement types. The estimate of the projects for the December 2022 letting is approximately $259.4 million. This chart shows the dollar amount distribution by improvement type. I now ask for your consideration for approval for the proposed projects presented for the December 2022 letting.
So moved.
Is there a motion? Thank you. And a second?
Yes.
Any questions for Mr. Shelby or Mr. Franks? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you, Albert. Thank you, Kenneth.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is to discuss revisions to the construction work program. And Matt Markham, please address us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, members of the board. It's a pleasure to come before you to present revisions to the construction work program. As usual, there are two sets of revisions. This first project is coming to you for review. It is a pavement rehab project in Walker County, Congressional District 14. And then this next project is one that came to you for review last month and comes back for action today. It is a drainage improvement project in Clark County, Congressional District 10. So I'll be happy to take any questions or ask for your favorable consideration for this revision.
Motion.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board. It's a pleasure to be with you here in November. I agree, Chairman, this year is going by quick. So let me start with our state fund collections. For October, totaled right at $20 million. Of course, that is made up solely of mainly the transportation fees. Brings our fiscal year-to-date number to $76.23 million. So that's where we are. I'd also like to remind you that the governor has extended the suspension of the gas tax through the middle of next month, I believe it is. Trying to look for an affirmation. 16th. So, and coincidentally, also the federal government's funding is in a continuing resolution to December 16th. And so Congress is back in session now, and Congress will have to address appropriations moving forward for the federal fiscal year. And so we will sort of watch closely of how that goes, especially with the announcement yesterday and this morning of changing powers in the House. So we'll see where that goes. We'll keep you attuned and abreast, but otherwise we're still moving forward. So nothing stopping at this point. We're able to continue to move forward for now. And Albert, the letting was a big one. The other thing I just want to mention too is, as Albert and Kenneth presented, is that last project in River Valley after 10 years is almost like a graduation or something. I mean, that's a major milestone to get through the last project. That's something started over more than 10 years ago with the referendum, and to make this major milestone, that projects had to be advertised and bid basically before the end of the calendar year. So a major milestone. I want to congratulate Kenneth and his team for what they do to make the TIA program a success. So that's really a great day there. The next thing I'd like to update you on is a good news announcement on employment data. I usually sort of dread this time of month when I look at employment data, but this month was fantastic. We are at 3,741 employees as we closed out last month. That is up and is trending in the right direction. And we actually hired 81 employees and only had 51 separate, so net 30. That's good. We want to be net positive. We have been net negative or net neutral for a long time. So we're trying to build that staffing capability back up that we desperately need so we can be responsive to all the needs we have in the state. Next is professional services procurement update. 126 contracts in October valued at $50.6 million for engineering, design, right-of-way, geotech, and all the things it takes to deliver the program. That brings our fiscal year date numbers to 682 contracts executed, valued at right at $362 million for professional services. So again, feeding the pipeline so that Albert can get up here and ask for your approval to bid projects, and then we get them built. So it takes a lot of work to get that done. Now let me highlight the projects a couple of projects that were open to traffic last month. And we'll start in Congressional District 2 in Decatur County, which is GDOT District 4. And this is a local capital bridge investment. Projects on Attapulgos, that's hard to say, Attapulgos Climax Road over Callahan Branch. The contractor was Southern Concrete Construction Company. It represents a $2 million investment, and this project, as you can see, the bridge there was open to traffic ahead of schedule. It's a great view, and if you just saw those pictures Albert showed of some of the bridges we're replacing, and you end up with something like that, so marked improvement for structural capacity and safety as well. The next project is also in Congressional District 2, but in Baker County, again, GDOT District 4, and it represents a capital maintenance project of almost 19 miles of milling and resurfacing and shoulder rehabilitation on State Route 200. Starts down at the Early County line and goes all the way to State Route 91. The contractor for this project was Reeves Construction Company. It represents a $5 million investment for $5 million for almost 19 miles. Great project to be done, and there's a photo of State Route 200. Now we'll move into Congressional District 10 up in Washington County, which is GDOT District 2, as you can see on the map. Another local bridge investment project to replace a bridge on approaches on Linton Road over Keg Creek. The contractor was Southeast Site Development. Represents a $2.4 million investment to replace that structurally deficient bridge. And I'm really excited that this project was 5 months ahead of schedule. So that's good. That's great. We appreciate the contractor getting that done sooner rather than later. The next project we'll move to is in Congressional District 13 in Douglas County, which is GDOT District 7. This project represents a capital maintenance investment of about 8 miles of milling and resurfacing on State Route 5, a very busy corridor, starting just north of State Route 166 and heading over to Central Church Road. Contractor was C.W. Matthews Contracting Company. Represents a $2.6 million investment to the capital maintenance investment on this project. All right, let's moving out of the projects, and just we got a lot of updates this month of things that are being going on, especially in the awards and recognition category, and especially in sort of the conference. A lot of conferences and things have been going on that we have been a part of. So I'll start with the 2022 Intelligent Transportation Society of Georgia's Best ITS Award. So Intelligent Transportation Society, I'll call ITS, and we're going to stay on that theme for a minute. And just recently was the 2022 Best of the ITS Awards, and we had several GDOT winners. And the Best of the IT Awards recognize either outstanding people, projects, and the organizations that make Georgia a leader in development and deployment of innovative technologies in the transportation sector. Some of those award winners were Alan Davis, our state traffic engineer here at GDOT. He won the Larry R. Dryhoff Award, which is a federal highway administrator, exemplifying leadership and dedication in promoting deployment of ITS technologies. Additionally, GDOT won some other awards as well for innovation, for the Outside the Box Award, and I really like that one. That was due to our high-risk commercial motor vehicle notification program, where truck drivers get notifications in their trucks of high-risk locations. Saw some great outcomes of that. Also in innovation for the Best Use of ITS Technology Award for our ITS Asset Management System software solution. Listen, you know, if you ever have a problem with your computer at home or your phone, just think about all the technology we have across this state. It takes a lot to manage that software and everything, and the hardware and everything that goes along with it. So that was recognizing for our ITS Asset Management solution there. Also, we won for Outstanding Agency Contribution Award for the innovation in deploying fully connected vehicle technologies countywide in advance of the cooperative and autonomous vehicle application statewide. And this was with a partnership with Gwinnett County to, again, take a whole countywide approach to installing the latest technology for connected vehicles. So really a great outcome. We have many folks from our traffic operations team here with us today. If y'all would stand up real quick, recognize them. Thank you. I see John Hilbert there. He certainly is the director of operations, has a big influence in empowering and keeping our traffic operations section moving. Alan Davis was standing back there as the big award winner, but it's the people standing around Alan that's does the real work. Alan, I know who does the real work. So but certainly proud of that. So we're going to stay on this ITS awards. There you can see the photos there of our award winners. But I'm going to stay on this conversation of ITS because not only did they have the ITS Georgia Awards, just recently Atlanta hosted the Southeastern ITS Summit, which is the chapters of ITS, a subset of the chapters of ITS America, which included chapters from Georgia, the Carolinas, Florida, Tennessee, and the Gulf Region ITS. You know, the Gulf Region ITS has the best name. They call themselves Grits. So we have some grits in town here in Atlanta. So ITS America, of course, is the national organization. I would sort of say ITS America is like AASHTO is the SASHTO. So you have the state, the national effort, and then you have the local efforts being more regional. So it was a 4-day event here held last week here in Atlanta. We had 19 employees to be able to attend and be part of the sessions and provide information. And our own Andrew Heath and Caitlin Stewart served on the planning committee to help pull this together. Again, I think over 850 people, so a big event. And again, beside the awards we brought home, just our presence at the summit, and it really points to what's going on here in Georgia. And we led a lot of those conversations and sessions. I was very honored to provide a welcome to the group on Monday morning, and then serve on a panel of CEOs. We actually had other state DOT commissioners, one from Iowa, North Carolina, Louisiana, and then we had several chief engineers, Tennessee and a few other states on the panel discussion. So very, very honored to be part of that, and quite an honor to host here in Georgia. So speaking of employee recognition and great work, it's exciting that just back on October 26th, we had our annual Employees Recognition Awards program. We had about 120 people packed in this room, and then we had another 1,000 viewing live across the state because we broadcast it live. I mean, this is like the High Production Academy Award show. I mean, it was awesome. In total, 41 awards, deserving awards were handed out to the best and the brightest and the teams here at GDOT. And obviously, I don't have time to go through all 41 today, but I do want to highlight a couple. And the first one would be the Wayne Shackelford Leadership Award that we give out annually, which is the single award to present it to a GDOT employee who consistently demonstrates exceptional leadership, commitment to the department, and service to the public. And as the department's highest award, its recipient is distinguished by expertise and value and ability, again, to lead others and to do really great work here at department. So this year's recipient possesses a wealth of knowledge and expertise and experience, and continually proves to be an individual asset to the department and does great work. And the winner of the Wayne Shackford Award was Mary Zyrock. And Mary has served as the Assistant Chief Procurement Officer for Operations for more than a decade and has really worked tirelessly to elevate the department's procurement profession. And she's been recognized for her excellence in the past, and you know that I've brought you many awards that we've won nationally due to the procurement and the professional job that they do and being very innovative, leading the nation. So, unfortunately, I'd love to recognize Mary today, but guess what? She's not here. She's doing our annual procurement training today. And so she didn't know she was going to win back then, so they'd already had the training, and this is our 10th year that Mary's leading the training of procurement across statewide, all our district procurement people and statewide. So congratulations to Mary. The other really top award we give every year, too, is the James F. Condren Award, which is basically from Federal Highway. And Jim Condren was the Federal Highway Administrator, and it's a memorial to his contribution to the agency. And this award is, again, bestowed by Federal Highway, and we certainly appreciate the partnership Sabrina provides from the division office here. This award recognizes a GDOT employee with outstanding performance during their job during the year by adding value to a project or a program, establishing effective partnerships with federal, state, and local agencies, and using new technologies or innovations to improve the effectiveness of the highway program. This year's James F. Condren Award, I'm proud to say, is Mr. Brad McManus. Brad, I believe, is here. So, Brad, would you stand up and let us recognize you? Brad is our MS4 manager, program manager. And let me tell you what MS4 is. It stands for, and Dennis may know this one, Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System. That's a mouthful. So it's easier to say MS4. But that's dealing with us inventorying our stormwater systems, inspecting them, working on designs for the future, and obviously just overall asset management of an extremely large storm sewer system we have. If you think about all the pipes in the ground around the state, there are a lot of drainage structures. So Brad's done a great job starting that from basically scratch when we had to become compliant, federally compliant with that, starting with a system that really had no basis, or we didn't back a long time ago, and Brad's been at this a while now. We just didn't have inventory or asset condition information, and we've come such a long way. He's led that entirely. So proud for the hard work that Brad does and leading his team, and certainly proud of the work that Mary does. So I just thank them for what they do. But it was a great day to provide these awards and recognize the great work. And I can tell you, as the 41 people came up, or the teams came up, almost all of them said, we don't deserve this. There's other people that should deserve this as well. And that's really heartwarming and rewarding to see the selfless dedication that our employees have. And when they're recognized, they humbly say, well, there should be others with me. And that's just a testament to our employees. All right, let me move on. Again, I said there's been a lot going on. There has been a lot going on. So last week was the 2022 Georgia Transportation Summit, co-hosted with us in ACEC, Georgia, held in Athens. We had several board members there. Dana Lemon was there. Jamie Boswell was there. Rudy Bowen was there. And our chairman, Kevin Abel, was there. So I appreciate y'all making the trip to Athens. It was the record crowd of over 1,350 attendees registered. So it is a big event. I guess there's something going on in Georgia with transportation. I don't know. There's a lot of interest for some reason. We had a lot of elected officials as well, and of course, transportation professionals. Meg Perkle and Janine Miller and I were honored to have the opportunity to speak at the plenary session in the morning. In my remarks, I provided a theme of my presentation called The Best of Times, The Worst of Times. And so sort of walked through the situation we're in, with the best of times being the bipartisan infrastructure law, the worst of times being, construction commodity price escalation, supply chain issues, and the like. But I ended with the Churchill quote of, it's not the end, it's not the beginning, maybe it's the beginning of the end. If you remember that famous quote from Churchill, basically saying we're 1 year into the bipartisan infrastructure law. We've learned a lot. Federal Highway has certainly done a lot of work in standing up these new programs, and we're moving forward. And I do feel like our better days are ahead as it relates to, cost and pricing and things like that. Over a five-year term, I do think best of days are ahead. But that was sort of the theme of my presentation. Also, there was a good panel discussion hosted by the Georgia Transportation Alliance with Seth Milligan. We had Chairman Steve Gooch and Chairman Rick Jaspers of the Joint EV Committee Josh talked about yesterday, and Janine joined that panel discussion as well, talking about what the committee heard, sort of thoughts ahead. But also we heard from planes, trains, automobiles, and ships, because we heard from Collie Greenwood, the CEO of MARTA. Anna Roach, who was here yesterday, gave the ARC overview. Great to have Anna here yesterday. We heard from Bidari, I'll say that wrong, the general manager of Hartsfield Jackson. B's a great guy. We've built a great relationship working with B. And then we heard from Griff Lynch, who always outdoes all of us because he has really cool videos from the Ports Authority of magically showing how they do things. And we always get a little concerned because Griff's going to have some kind of blockbuster video that makes us all look bad with PowerPoint. So anyway, it was a great general session as well. We had 20 GDOT employees throughout breakout sessions providing that technical knowledge and knowledge share with the committees that we have structured with ACEC Georgia. Really, again, a great opportunity to share and learn. One of the high demand sessions was Federal Highway. Dan Hinton, Sabrina's assistant DA, provided an overview on the IJA and Federal Highway and local delivery, which was a little bit of the theme of the whole conference. So really a really good day. During the summit, though, also one of the things we always enjoy is the Georgia Partnership for Transportation Quality Awards, where I forget how many submissions we had. It was a tremendous amount of submissions, and our own Tim Matthews is part of that judging team to make sure all these projects are reviewed and awarded, chosen, the top project. So really a neat initiative. The Georgia Partnership for Transportation Quality this goes back to the 90s, which was a national focus on quality. And so Georgia has continued this, even though that program sort of went away a long time ago, I think, but it's still just a focus on quality. And so we had a lot of committees, subcommittees, and task force that are consultants in GDOT that we work together throughout the year. And the culmination of that, as you can see, GDOT employees who were recognized through the many awards that were given out. And it's just, again, they're great to see what a role we play in doing a lot of great work across the state. And it's a competitive. These are not just GDOT projects, they're local projects as well. So you're competing against all types of projects, city, county, and the like. So congratulations to all our employees that were recognized and part of the winning projects. So very good. Speaking of recognition, it's always important to think about taking care of our assets. I've mentioned asset conditions already, but one of the biggest things we have is our equipment. And taking care of our equipment is certainly important. And the way we do that is through our preventative maintenance programs. And we have regular monitoring that we do for preventive maintenance. And ultimately, we have an effort to award those who are the top of the top, if you will, in taking care of our equipment, and which is taking care of taxpayers' dollars, right? If we're good stewards of our equipment. To recognize this, we've created we've had a PM decal program, and the PM decals, PM means preventive maintenance, are awarded to employees who've shown dedication and teamwork towards the preventative maintenance. And to earn that PM decal, employees must have a perfect score on a lengthy and surprise inspection checklist. So we have prescribed standards that you have to do, but then we come behind and check and make sure that those prescribed standards are being met, and in this case, exceeded. After a period of staff retirement and turnover, and then basically we've had to intensify our training program to newer staff members to train them and give them the knowledge of what good preventative maintenance is and how to do that. And so, distribution of these PM decals is highly sought after and means a lot. And it's certainly an outward recognition that that operator or that team has gone over and above. It's no easy recognition. We gave out basically six individuals or teams so far, and that represents 7,700 vehicles in our fleet. So you're talking about a lot of equipment. You remember my number a minute ago? 3,700 and something. We got 7,700 pieces of equipment that have to be maintained and taken care of. So it's a lot of work. So in GDOT District 1, we had the teams of James Newberry and Greg Johnson, William Martin, a team of Tracy Cox and Frankie Thurman. Also, we had a team of Keith Jones and Don Welburn. In GDOT District 2, we had Chris Edmond, a team of Chris Edmonds, Steve Benning, Dominique Partlow, William Ward, and Willie Cox. In GDOT District 7, we had a team of Ronald Brown, Angie Dupree, and Cedric Glenn. And it's really, again, just to highlight the dedication and commitment of our employees of taking care of our equipment, which makes the longevity and lifespan of that a lot better. So certainly proud of that. Let me move along and talk about equipment. When you need equipment and you want it to operate, especially when things like hurricanes and tropical storms come along. So at the same time we were hosting the Transportation Summit was going on in Athens, hurricane blowing across the southeast part of the state and up through the coast. And our GDOT District 5, again, responded very quickly and to a situation where we had water overtopping the Torres Causeway out to St. Simons and US 280 out to Tybee and some other isolated flooding and trees down. And this was actually a little bit more than what was predicted, in that we didn't quite expect with the way the winds were and the tides and the timing to get the marsh rack and the water going across those causeways. But D5 was ready. They loaded up as soon as the water receded enough. They were able to load up 15 loads of the marsh rack, the debris that comes out of the marsh, old marsh grass stuff. We had 15 loads out of Glenn County and just had one load off out on 280 to get off of to get Tybee back open. But got the roads back open as the tides receded and the storm passed by. But certainly appreciate D5 being responsive when it was just sort of rainy and bad here in Atlanta, but they were dealing with real issues on the coast. Certainly appreciate that. And let me conclude with, if it's on the internet, it must be true. Well, I guess it's not my conclusion, but I got one more thing. Just recently, we were made aware, and actually I think our staff found it, that we had some fake Twitter accounts that were trying to represent that they were GDOT and putting out fake news and information. So we have worked with Twitter to try to get those fake accounts removed. And it's just interesting to see that people are that interested in transportation. They want to create fake Twitter accounts and create trouble. So just as an awareness, if you're following us on social media, make sure you have our Twitter handles and social media accounts. Our Scott's team does a great job of social media is so important to message and get information out, but it's trying to pay attention to for bad actors. We certainly want to make sure that if you hear anything or see anything or somebody calls you that says they saw something on Twitter or social media and it doesn't sound right, please let us know, because it may not be. So just wanted to give you that heads up that there's bad actors in the world for sure. And lastly, I just want to acknowledge a great friend of Georgia DOT who's worked at the Georgia Ports Authority for many years, and that's Randy Whiteman. And I'm not sure, is Randy here? Yeah, stand up, Randy. So Randy, you always is about that seat here, but Randy has been such a great partner to GDOT and a liaison, if you will, back and forth to the Ports Authority for, I'm not going to say how many decades, Randy, but Randy has decided to retire. And that's a great loss, because his institutional knowledge that he carries between his ears is amazing. As I was talking about Brad and the inventory of pipes, Randy can tell you where every pipe and canal and everything is in and around the port, and he knows it. He's been such a great, dedicated employee to GPA. He will certainly be missed, and he will never be replaced. Now, I can say that sincerely, and I just want to thank him for all he's done for the partnership with GDOT, but for what he's done to make Georgia a better place. And his work has been truly impactful from that little port to grow to what it is today. And Randy, we just appreciate you and wish you all the best in your retirement or whatever that may be. And I understand it may involve a lot of grass cutting, but anyway, Randy, all the best, and we just say thank you. And that's not fake news, right, Randy? That's real. Okay. All right, Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report. I'll be glad to entertain questions, comments.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Are there any questions for the Commissioner or comments? Well, I have one. I did some research, Commissioner. I did some research, and I discovered that there is not a single DOT commissioner around the country who has ever quoted Dickens and Churchill in the same speech. You know, you say you went to Georgia Southern, but we know you went to Princeton, where you got your classical education. You know, I was, as you mentioned, in attendance at the Transportation Summit in Athens, and you know, there's a theme over the last 3.5, almost 4 years that I've been sitting on this board, whereby I just continue to learn about our Georgia DOT and the amazing organization that we have. And sitting in the audience in the what's it called, the Classic Center or something in Athens, you know, I kind of, you know, watched the videos that our communications team produced, and then listened to your comments and Meg's comments, and just feel this tremendous pride and satisfaction with you know, the organization that we are proud to serve here on the board. And it's not just the leadership, it's, you know, all the great employees, and hearing you talk about the employee recognition awards and you know, the 41 recipients and all the other team members who contribute to this great organization. So I just want to share, you know, my pride and respect and you know, thanks to the organization. So thanks so much for sharing all that with us today.
Thank you.
Right, and now on to the board committee reports. And Tim, will you give us the report on the statewide transportation planning, strategic planning committee meeting from yesterday?
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. The statewide transportation planning, strategic planning committee convened on November 16th, yesterday at 1:35 p.m. Board members present included myself, Jeff Lewis, Ann Purcell, Emily Dunn, Dennis McIntyre, Chairman Abel, Robert Brown, Johnny Floyd, Rudy Bowen, and Jerry Sharon. The first order of business was Janine Miller, our planning director, introduced Anna Roach, that the commissioner mentioned in his report, the new executive director and CEO of the Atlanta Regional Commission. She discussed the great relationship we have at GDOT with them, and she went through planning matters, regional transportation plan, and ARC's critical role in the Infrastructure Act. There were no actions taken during this committee meeting, and there being no further business. I can adjourn the committee at 2:07 p.m., and that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Golden. Mr. Brown, will you please give us the reports on the intermodal committee meeting?
The Intermodal Committee convened on November 16, 2022 at 2:08 p.m. Board members present included Chairman Jerry Sharon, myself, Johnny Floyd, Kevin Abel, Ann Purcell, Dennis McIntyre, Rudy Bowen, Tim Golden, Emily Dunn, and Jeff Lewis. The first order of business is Ms. Trainer, Assistant Division Director of the Intermodal Division, gave a presentation on the air cargo study. The Intermodal Division recently completed a study on the air cargo industry in Georgia. This study was designed to identify current trends and forecast future air cargo activity to determine if new facilities or improvements are needed and related costs associated with the identified improvements. Ms. Trainer, the Assistant Director of the Intermodal Division, presented an overview of the study findings. Committee actions, no actions were taken during the committee. There being no further business, Chairman Jerry Sharon adjourned the meeting at 2:19 p.m. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Ms. Purcell, the Legislative Committee update, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Legislative Committee convened on November the 16th at 2:30 p.m. Board members present were Purcell, Golden, Floyd, Sharon, Abel, Brown, McIntyre, Bowen, and Lewis. Our first order of business, Joshua Waller, Director of Policy and Government Affairs, provided an update on the results of the November the 8th election at the federal and the state level, in addition to the results of the multiple county T-SPLOST referendums. Additionally, Mr. Waller provided an update on the General Assembly's Joint Committee on the Electrification of Transportation, which is finalizing its report with recommendations in anticipation of its statutory deadline of December the 1st. Our committee actions were none. There being no further business of the committee, the meeting was adjourned at 2:51 by the chair, Ann Purcell. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Purcell. Mr. Boswell, can you give us the Program Delivery Committee update?
Yes, sir. The Program Delivery Committee convened on November 16, 2022 at 2:52 p.m. Board members present included Vice Chairman Dennis McIntyre, Ann Purcell, Jeff Lewis, Tim Golden, Kevin Abel, Robert Brown, Johnny Floyd, Jeff Lewis, Dana Lemon, and Jerry Sharon. First order of business, Albert Shelby, Director of Program Delivery, and John Hancock, State Construction Engineer, presented on the status of two major corridors in the state and their importance, State Route 133 and US 441. Mr. Hancock discussed the construction phases and Mr. Shelby discussed the design phases. No actions were taken during this committee meeting. There being no further business, Vice Chairman Dennis McIntyre adjourned the meeting at 3:10 p.m. And this concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Boswell. I will give the Committee of the Whole report. The Committee of the Whole convened on November 16th, 2022 at 3:15 p.m. Board members present included Abel, Brown, Purcell, Floyd, McIntyre, Key, Golden, Lewis, Lemon, and Sharon. Patrick Allen, the State Materials Engineer, gave an update on Buy America, focused on the Build America, Buy America provisions of the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. Build America, Buy America builds on the existing requirements for steel, iron, and manufactured products to now include construction materials such as non-ferrous materials, plastic, and polymer-based products, glass, lumber, and drywall. Construction materials must be produced in the United States where used on federal aid projects. GDOT is working with industry to ensure adequate product designation for its qualified products list, the QPL list, and updating contractual requirements accordingly. There were no actions taken during this committee meeting. There being no further business, I adjourned the committee at 3:36 p.m., and this concludes my report. And this brings us to the most controversial item on the agenda, and that is the need to move the December board meeting 1 week earlier to December 8th. So I'd like to ask for a motion to move the December board meeting up 1 week to December 8th. Is there a second? Second. Is there any discussion? Tim? No discussion? All in favor? The motion passes. Is there any new business to bring before the board this month? No new business. Well, then I will call the November meeting adjourned.